Mhm.
Hi, welcome everybody to the monthly DAO Roundup call. We are doubled up on marketing and DAO Call this week, even though we are normally going to be alternating because last week we had to skip the marketing call. So next week there'll be a marketing call, but no DAO Call. And then the week after that, there'll be a DAO call, but no marketing call. So we should normally just have one call a week. But this is the first of the month. So it is our monthly roundup. And I will be summarizing everything that we talk about and everything else that's been going on in Unlock for the monthly newsletter. So keep your eye out for that coming out later this week, or at worst case scenario, first of next week. Yeah, and let's get started jumping into governance. So we have our DAO payroll passed for July and August this last month. So that was good to get covered. We batch processed July and August together just to kind of minimize the admin overhead for voting, and for good reason, because the DAO collaborator payment missed quorum due to a few people not getting around to getting their votes in, myself included. Because I missed the call. That was my usual window of when I get votes in, and so I just spaced it out and didn't think of it, which happens. Apologies, but we have it back up again. It is live for voting right now, so make sure you get your votes in today or this week. You have about a week or so, a little bit less than a week to get your votes in. So make sure you don't miss that window, and we will get the collaborator payments executed and sent out as needed. And that's pretty much the governance updates for this month. We don't have anything else currently live. There may be some more proposals coming through later this month, so keep your eyes peeled, but we will definitely send out announcements and make sure that everybody gets notified. Yep, thanks for the link. There is the link to the live proposal. On to other topics, we have a couple of finance updates. So our treasury is starting to run a little bit low on USDC. So we need to replenish that fund. We have ETH and UP in the treasury that are available for swapping to USDC. So we are currently working on a proposal for how much and which tokens to swap to replenish our USDC. So if you have thoughts and opinions about how we should go about this transaction, please make sure to speak up. Hit us up in the Telegram channel, share your thoughts. Should we use ETH? Should we use UP? There's arguments for both. Liquidity is a little bit thin on UP right now, so the biggest concern with transferring up to USDC is that we will weaken our available liquidity, which is a challenge. But also ETH is, the whole market's down right now, so we have to be conscientious of how much ETH that we are, tapping into for our USDC. But we don't really have much choice. We need USDC to function. And the purpose of having a treasury is to fund our operations. So far be it from us to hold back on using the resources that we have. We just need to have consensus about how we use those resources. So if you have an opinion that you want to be factored into the proposal, speak up now, share your thoughts, and otherwise a treasury proposal will be coming up this month for swapping into USDC to fund our activities. So keep your eye out for that. Participate in the discussion if you have opinions. And kind of leading into that as well, we are open to suggestions from the community for grant opportunities. If you are out there in the world and you come across potential grant opportunities that you think apply to the Unlock community, make sure you bring it up, share it with us, bring those opportunities forward so that we can have other means of replenishing our USDC besides just tapping into our reserves. we do also obviously want to be promoting and pushing revenue production for the protocol. So that is, we'll get into that a little bit with the Metopia conversation in the marketing discussion. But if you have ideas of communities and projects or builders who are in need of the services that Unlock provides, the services the protocol provides, definitely bring those forward, share them with us, help us connect with these projects so that we can get them producing paid locks that solves their problems for their community and also helps generate revenue for our community in the form of burning up tokens to help out with that liquidity, the liquidity issue. So two opportunities there for community engagement, sharing grant opportunities, as well as connecting us with active communities and builders that are working in the kind of value aligned field that Unlock is targeting. So make sure that you share those thoughts, get out there in the world and find those opportunities, bring them back to the community. These are things that, have the potential for being rewarded if they turn into really valuable opportunities. Community engagement is always rewarded. So be an active community member and bring your thoughts and ideas to the group so that we can all discuss it. And yeah, moving on to the marketing section, we have 2 live campaigns right now. We've been talking about these pretty consistently. So if you haven't heard about it yet, you probably haven't been paying attention. But the incented campaign is still live for submissions. The submission window is closing this week, though. You have about 2.5 days to get your video submissions in. And we do have some video submissions that are queued up. So you can start reviewing those because the voting window will be starting soon. But don't be afraid to put your submissions in even at the last minute. It's not too late until the window closes. And there's $600 in USDC available for rewards for content submissions. And that amount is going to be proportionally split to all content submitters who are approved. So if you have multiple submissions that get approved, there is a higher proportion that can be attributed to you. So make sure if you have multiple ideas, don't just put the one that you think is the best. Don't hesitate to put them all up there and see what the community thinks. And if you haven't submitted anything yet, you have time. Don't feel like you've missed your opportunity. There's still 2.5 days. So get your submissions on there. And then we will transition into the voting stage. I don't know if Cece, if you have any other thoughts that you want to share about the incented campaign or any additional call to action. Otherwise, you can jump into the Metopia campaign and let us know what's going on with that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Triggs, for all the resume of the campaign. And yeah, in fact, we had the office hours at the marketing working group call just a little bit earlier. And it was nice. It joined us Jose, and he was also expecting to bring some content. He wasn't sure if his focus was right, so it was really nice to hear his ideas and how he was thinking about mm, creating his videos about composability and all that, which is really, really nice. And yeah, I think we are right now on the submission phase, as Trix said. And we just shared the link in the comment section, and if not, it's already pinned also in our X account, so you can access to the campaign at any point of time. And the most important thing is that this is a campaign specifically created for creators. So you just need to participate to get some portion of the 600 USDC reward pool that we are doing with this campaign. So that's like real numbers, as Ben shared also, because this is definitely like real money. So you can access to that. And how you can access, just make videos about unlock, pick an audience on what you would be solving on. It could be artists, it could be event hosts, it could be community organizers, maybe newsletter writers. I don't know, there are so many leads where this could go, that you can think of any of those that could use any of the use cases that Unlock has, and how they can take advantage by using Unlock protocol to make their revenue income, for example, directly to their wallets using subscription, using a membership, or maybe just making the certifications for their events and all that good stuff. So check it out. You still have 2.5 days to make your video and submit it, and be part of this. This is a really good opportunity, so you can definitely be part of this campaign and show your content. And why not get engaged with Unlock and the community of locksmiths, and definitely make it your way of entrance, and why not contribute with content in a regular basis after the campaign. So this is just a really good start point for you to come and join Unlock with all the things that we have and all the campaigns that we are bringing like on a regular basis. So that's it. If you still have questions or maybe need feedback on your idea or anything, just ping us on the Telegram group chat and tell us about your idea. Maybe if you still have like a draft and you want some feedback on it, it's good. It's still time. You can do it. And we are there for you to ask anything that you would like. That's it. And yeah, giving some updates on the Metopia campaign. This campaign is coming really fast. Um, I was just talking with the Metopia people, Kathy and Moon. And basically, the campaign is already deployed, so it will be up in a very short time. So people will be able to also participate on that and learn about Unlock, how it works, how the protocol works, what use cases we have, how to use each use case, and deploy any kind of lock for themselves. And in the meantime, they are learning this. They will be able to earn some app tokens as a reward for active learning process. So these are amazing opportunities for you to start not only engaging, but also learning and maybe starting your project and integrating Unlock on your project and taking advantage for yourself, and using these smart contracts without being a developer, for example. So that's amazing. And yeah, hopefully, I think this week we will have this campaign completely up and running. Stay tuned to our socials. We will be sharing the launch of the campaign, even though Metopia is already sharing a bit of content about it. We will definitely share you once this is completely ready and you are ready for engaging and learning and maybe building with Unlock.
Yeah,
And that's it,
absolutely.
Trick.
All right. Thank you very much. I am super excited for Metopia season 2. I think that this is going to be a great step forward for the Unlock community. We've been making such great strides at building a foundation for awareness, right? Like the last couple of years with Unlock has been a lot of foundation work. We've been improving documentation, building better, just like learning opportunities. And Metopia has been a great signal for just the ease at which you can onboard into Unlock and understand the complexities of this, what's available to you in the Unlock community. And so season 2 of Metopia, I think, is going to be a great next step that brings us past the awareness and into the usage, right? It's all about how do you use it? How do you get your community activated? How do you integrate Unlock into whatever tool or product you're building? And as Cece said, you don't actually have to be a software developer to get value out of integrating Unlock. It is built to be easy to plug it into whatever it is that you're doing. And so moving that direction, I think, is going to really help showcase more of what Unlock can do by maximizing that focus on external communities, right? Like the Unlock community is growing, and we have, the incentive campaign is another aspect of expanding the Unlock community. But Unlock serves so much more than just its own community. Unlock serves every community that has value alignment with, what is being produced. And so Metopia is going to push us into those communities, right? That's the goal. It's not quite the full ambassador program that we've been working on, but it is the first step towards that, right? Understanding, building these showcases, helping projects and communities integrate Unlock, and then creating content from that, right? This is a step towards more additional content. That's just the world that we live in. The only way that we can promote ourselves is through content, because that's the primary medium that people engage with nowadays, is this type of short form, especially video content. And that's where we need to target. That's where the market is. That's where potential new users and communities and builders are. And so we have to keep pushing that direction. And the only way we do that is by making these initial connections, onboarding these early communities, and showcasing the work that they do. Looking at the You Make Us campaign that Anupa did, season 1 of that was fantastic at showcasing how these different projects can integrate Unlock. And they're all very different. There's no like cookie cutter, simple solution for who can use Unlock. It's an almost endless market, because Unlock is a protocol that is designed to be composable in that way, right? It applies to almost any circumstance. And so as we find these initial test cases and build with these initial communities, it will broaden our target market and give us more potential for content that we can build that will help people understand how they can engage with Unlock. So thank you so much, Cece, for all the hard work with getting Metopia geared up for season 2. I think it's going to be a hit. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for the launch of that campaign, and definitely participate. It's going to be good times. Speaking of good times, it's great to have Danny back on the call. It's been a couple of weeks. We've missed you. And Danny isn't just here to grace us with his presence, but he has exciting news from his community project. So the P2E Inferno is launching a scholarship program. If you have a moment, Danny, would like to share a little bit about that with us, we would love to hear more.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it really has been a couple of weeks. I have been deep in the woods building a lot of things, and it's been crazy. So yeah, this is one of the things that's come out of that. And to talk about this scholarship program, I have to like ask a little rhetorical question. And question is, has anyone ever done like a marketing campaign where you got a lot of engagement and traffic, but at the end of the day, you probably didn't get the results that you were looking for. So I know I have, and so I feel your pain. I don't know some marketing maybe on Facebook or whatever platform, and you paid for some adverts or whatever, but you got the traffic, people did visit, but you didn't get the sort of results or the conversion that you wanted. And so P2E Inferno solves this problem in a very, very unique way. So P2E Inferno, for those of you who don't know, P2E Inferno is an educational and activation platform that uses gamification and incentives to drive engagement and community growth. And so basically, how most systems tackle this problem is, you have the campaign and people like channeled to the specific platform or whatever, and that kind of like is how the whole thing works. And possibly you have to like hope that they convert when they get to your platform, or when they get to your thing they can actually convert. But the way P2E Inferno deals with this problem is we work with protocols and communities to understand the exact action, or yeah, basically action that they want from their customers, users, or whatever. And then we create campaigns around those actions so that when people take the exact action, they get rewarded. And for the community or protocol, they get the results that they want, because people aren't just being driven or directed to your website, app, or platform just to go check it out, but they are directed to do the specific thing that you want them to do. And that actually works even in traditional business. Like maybe you want people to purchase, we could have a campaign around that where people actually get rewarded when they actually make a purchase from you. And so that's basically how it works. And the way the scholarship program works, it rests on a fundamental idea called the supporter program. And so the supporter program is basically about people who like support the vision of P2E Inferno as a platform that is basically looking to educate people in Web3 and frontier technologies. It's not just Web3. AI is out here now and is making a lot of disruptions in the world, and there's tons of people who don't really know how to use it. You would be surprised. But we went out and did a survey, and we found that so many people don't even know how to use these things. And so Web3 and AI is just like superpowers, because now you can have agents with wallets that go out and do things, and it's just amazing. And so educating emerging economies in like frontier technologies like this, as well as like helping businesses get the results that they want, businesses and protocols. And so people who support this vision of P2E Inferno are basically who we refer to as supporters. And so the supporter program basically involves the people taking some sets of actions on the P2E Inferno platform that kind of keeps the platform alive. It's a blockchain protocol. We have some transactions. The entire system is powered by a gamification smart contract called the DG token vendor. And so there's some activities around progression and engagement that is required to just have the ecosystem be alive. And so people who help with these actions are supporters, and they get rewarded for taking these actions, which is basically in line with the entire principle of our philosophy and all. And so as the supporters do the actions that get them rewarded, that's the foundation of the scholarship program, because we realize that some people can get busy. Like you might have a thing or whatever, and so you're not able to do the actions as frequently as you need to, because as a matter of fact, it is on a daily basis. And earlier in the call, Triggs, you said something about you missing the call that you needed to be on to do the voting. And so that's how that didn't happen. And And so life happens and things like that could happen. And so people may have situations that make them not to do the actions, even though they support your protocol, they support your product. And so the scholarship program was designed so that people that aren't able to do the action can sponsor people who have the time and effort to actually take the action on a daily basis on their behalf. And so that way the action gets taken, and then the reward gets split between the sponsor and the the scholar, basically the one who does the work on a daily basis. So then it sort of becomes like a passive vehicle for the sponsor, who like, oh yeah, I really support the vision of P2E Inferno or what they're doing, but I can't be involved day to day to do this thing. So I'm just gonna be a sponsor and sponsor a scholarship, and somebody who's able to do this thing can then do it. And this was all enabled by Unlock. Like, one of the cool features of Unlock is the lending. So it already has a lending feature where you can actually lend out an NFT without like giving it out to the person. So that's how the whole scholarship feature was enabled, simply by that. So we didn't have to go try to build too many things out. And the whole reward mechanism as well is basically us taking a quest and locking it. So the rewards that the supporters get for like doing the actions daily, it was basically something that was open to everyone. But we realized that it was such a high value task, and so many people wanted to do that without basically giving back value to the protocol, the ecosystem of P2E Inferno. And guess what? We thought, oh, there is Unlock. We are built on Unlock. And so we can lock this whole quest behind the lock. And so people now have to like pay for it to get access to it, which is the most basic use of Unlock. But everything is perspective and how you apply it, and suddenly it becomes something really beautiful and elegant. So yeah, we just basically applied a lock to something that was already existing, and it turned into like a product. And that's how like the scholarship program became a thing, the supporters, and then the sponsors and scholars. So that's how it all comes together, and they help keep the fire burning and the actions like rolling for both P2E Inferno and like protocols that we work with to help them meet their goals and objectives. So that's basically how it is on a high level, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Awesome. Thank you for that overview. That was really exciting to hear how, using Unlock unlocked the functionality that you were looking for. That's really, it's no coincidence that phrasing is funny, because it's intentional. That is the purpose of Unlock, right? Is to provide the key to unlock a more composable and a more accessible technological foundation for builders. There's something that kind of reminded me of a discussion I saw somewhere else. People were talking about, I forget what company it was, but there was some company that decided to, one of their employees vibe coded a task management replacement for like Jira or something. I forget what platform that they were using, but the company was using some product for their internal task management. And one of their employees vibe coded a replacement for it so that they could customize features a little bit more. And it was great at first. They dropped their Jira subscription and started utilizing this tool, but then they ended up going back to Jira after a little while because the maintenance of keeping their internal task tool functional was starting to take away from the productivity of their actual product, right? Of their development time was getting absorbed into maintaining their own task management tool. And so they had to go back to the closed book, kind of product that provided just a low maintenance solution. And that's really a key component to why Unlock is different. Utilizing Unlock is kind of like this weird middle ground in that scenario where you absolutely can vibe code your own solution to whatever functionality, or not even vibe code, just develop your own solution, right? But if you build it utilizing Unlock, you have a maintained framework that is going to continually keep improving. Unlock is utilized by all kinds of different groups, and the DAO itself takes responsibility for the maintenance of that infrastructure. And so if you're building on Unlock, you don't have to take on the burden of maintaining all the smart contracts and all of the infrastructure that's necessary for that functionality to exist. You can just put your little cover plate on it. You can, vibe code or standard code your own UX for how you want to engage with it. And if you want ideas on what that actually looks like, take a look at the You Make Us series that Anupa did. There are several features in there where people describe how they did exactly that. They took the infrastructure of Unlock and then they built what they needed on top of it. And all they have to maintain then is their front end. All they have to maintain is the functionality that they specifically wanted to build. But they don't have to waste all their time worrying about the upkeep of the infrastructure. And that's such an overlooked component to a software development lifecycle, is the maintenance of the infrastructure and the foundation. So Unlock is providing that to you and freeing up your time to just focus on building the features and functionality that you need. And Danny is a perfect example of doing exactly that, right? Unlock provided the necessary components to build this really unique and engaging experience, right? Like listening to Danny describe what the P2E Inferno is becoming. It covers so many of the classic problems that we face in this industry. And yet you can trust that P2E Inferno is going to be able to deliver on these promises because they're not wasting their time maintaining the infrastructure, right? They're just focused on building the functionality and providing the user experience that's necessary to solve these problems. So it doesn't really have any question to go back to you, Danny, but I just wanted to congratulate you on the progress that you've made. Fantastic to hear that things are moving forward, and I really enjoy the idea of the scholarship functionality, because it definitely addresses a key struggle that a lot of communities and organizations have, right? Everyone has something unique to bring to the table, but not everyone has the same time and availability and skills, right? And so providing the opportunity for this type of a program where somebody with resources can sponsor somebody with time and skill to engage in a certain way, that is collaboration. That's utilizing the skills and the value and the resources of your community efficiently and effectively, and having all of that piped through smart contracts that are maintained by the Unlock community that enables this kind of trustless execution within your community product. That's something fairly unique. It's very value aligned with the entire Web3 ecosystem that we've all participated in, and yet somehow that functionality has struggled to actually be delivered. And I think that the protocol maturity is bringing us to a point. We're seeing all of these different protocols and Web3 products shut down all over the place, like POAP closing down recently. And yet here's Unlock with a decentralized protocol that is managed by a DAO, providing infrastructure for people to create their own solutions. Instead of using POAP and risking it shutting down, you can just build your own membership and certification program utilizing the Unlock protocol. Who knows what's going to happen with Unlock and the DAO and the protocol, but the contracts are built. They're already there. And so no matter what happens, you'll never lose that. You'll always be able to run your program that you build on Unlock. There may be infrastructure changes that happen down the road, migrations that might need to happen or whatever, but the technology and the infrastructure is built and it's there, and you can rely on that and build your product on top of it and not have the rug pulled out from underneath you. So thanks, Danny, for sharing more about P2E Inferno. If you are interested to learn more, make sure you connect with Danny and see what is required for engaging in the scholarship program. If you have an idea of a community that could benefit from this functionality, when he was describing that, if it let off some light bulbs, make sure that you reach out to him and connect your community with P2E Inferno. And yeah, kind of transitioning off of that on a similar vein, Danny recently met with Zal. He had to pop off here. He was in the call earlier. But Zal has been hosting all kinds of builder focused events and Web3 kind of focused workshops. And so Danny and Zal did a workshop on the Unlock community and more of kind of the builder side of it. So definitely make sure you check that out. I will get a link to content for you in the newsletter. Newsletter should hopefully be coming out this week or early next week. So you should be able to check that out, see what is going on there, and stay connected with the Zal community. He's been a very active member recently in Unlock, and we are excited to have him be a part of it and bring the community that he has built into the fold. So make sure you check that out and see what else he's got going on over there.
Yeah,
And that,
it
go,
would be
go ahead.
nice to sorry. It would be nice to know how it went. Maybe tell us, Danny, what was the experience, and maybe if there were things that could be interesting for the both communities and also P2 Inferno. I think you were showing also that. Please tell us about.
Yeah, it was a really interesting experience. The Zal community has a lot of things going on. You know, I was really shocked by this, like how many different things is like involved in with there's like a games thing that happened. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware of the workshop part because that finished before I could be on, and he did mention that you came up on the show before the workshops ended, and so this was basically the other half of the event that was going on, where the participants would have to like kind of battle out with their builds, and eventually they would have a winner. And so we were basically trying to get builders to see some of the cool ways that you can build on Unlock and some of the things that you can do. And one of the ways to really get people's idea juices flowing is to show, not tell. So I showed off some of the things that we've built at P2E Inferno using Unlock, because there's like so many different ways that we've used it that people don't really know about or think about. And so like showing these things is intended to get people's idea light bulbs sparking, and then they would be able to like see how they can use it in their already existing businesses, and that would be the best way to like get the protocol moving forward, because then people would be able to like have paying subscriptions and stuff like that, which ultimately helps the protocol. And so we showed off some of the things that's already built, and an example would be the ref protocol, which I don't really talk about much, but it's an incredibly interesting project, which has like a lot of the unlock hooks functionality is basically what powers that entire smart contract. What that is an affiliate marketing smart contract on the blockchain. And so that whole thing was powered by the unlock protocol hooks. And so pretty much was trying to get people to become aware of that and how they could use it, because that's a very, very powerful feature in the protocol. And there were pretty much some other things that I haven't really checked out. It shared some links, but I haven't checked those out yet. But I do really believe that there's many ways that the the ZAL community and Unlock as well as P2E Inferno can actually work together. There's plenty of points where everything like synchronizes and we can help each other like grow. So yeah, that's really the experience. It was a really cool chat. I saw him here earlier in the call. I was really looking forward to hearing him talk about that as well, but unfortunately he had to drop. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll get him back on additional calls in the future. But I agree with you, Danny, in wholeheartedly. The overlap is very encouraging. I love to see communities come in like Saul's community, and it just immediately so many things start clicking, and different community projects start connecting. This is the real strength of building not only composable infrastructure but composable community, right? Like it's not about competition. It's not about somebody doing the same thing better than somebody else. It's about connecting with similar value minded groups and individuals and seeing how their growth can help your growth and your growth can help their growth, and we all grow together by expanding the application of this value set, right? The vision and mission that drives all of us to build these types of communities with this type of infrastructure and technology. It's all going somewhere, right? Like it's not just for the sake of doing something, it's for a purpose of creating a different future where technology people can engage with technology in a different way, in a less extractive way, in a way that maintains their own digital sovereignty. These are all things that don't make sense right now. That we can't sell that message because it doesn't really land, because nobody knows what that means. It's abstract. It's a concept that has no real tangible purpose. But when you see these projects like P2E Inferno and the things happening within Zal's community and the Unlock community itself, and you see the way that we can connect and collaborate and help each other grow, then it starts to make sense. All of these buzzwords that have been so popular over the last 5 to 10 years, they start to actually turn into real conversations and real productivity because we're actively building in a collaborative way, and it changes the entire landscape. And so I'm so excited to see these things just happening organically within our community, and seeing these projects connecting and seeing like light bulbs go off of how they can help each other, rather than the typical mindset of, oh, somebody else is doing something similar, I've got to figure out how to do it better so that I can beat them. Like we all win together by collaborating, and that's the true value of the foundation that's been built by Unlock, is it enables that type of collaboration and that supportive kind of engagement rather than competitive engagement. Not that competition's bad, right? Like Danny mentioned it in a couple of contexts. Competition is an important aspect of growth, but that competition, when constrained properly, is can be collaborative still, right? We can still compete for the best, but in a way that we all can still win, instead of a winner takes all kind of extractive competition like we're so used to. It doesn't have to be that way, and composability is the foundation that creates that opportunity. So anyway, that's my soapbox for today's call. Thanks for listening. That is the agenda. I don't know if anybody has any closing thoughts or other things that didn't make the agenda that they would like to talk about, but now is an opportunity to bring them up.
From my side, not anything more. Just a reminder for people to come and watch our campaigns live, specifically the incentive campaign that it's up and running, and we have 2.5 days for you to come and participate and show your video and get voted. And also, that is also very important for people that already have submitted. Make sure that share your submission with your community, with friends, family, and anybody that you would like them to support your work, and also check the work of others. And to they would need to have some app token on their wallets. So make sure to get set up in these days, because once the voting phase starts, then only the people who has token up token will be able to vote. So make sure to do that in these days, as we still have some time. And yeah, let's keep it running and participate in these amazing opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that final call to action. The incented campaign is moving into the voting stage. So don't think that it's ending in 2 days. The campaign is running all through the month. It's just the submission window is ending in 2.5 days. So you have time. Get out there, get your video content created. Make sure you check out the guidelines to ensure that you're following the specifications of what we're looking for, because only content that meets the specifications will get approved. But get your content up there and submit multiple revisions of your content. If you have different ideas on how it could be done, put them all up there and see which ones people like. But don't stop there, because when the submission window ends, we have a voting window that's a little bit less than a month. I think it's running through the month of August. So that's when the real participation starts for the rest of the community, right? Not everybody's a content creator. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be your skill set to engage in this campaign and to earn rewards in this campaign. So voters are also incentivized with up tokens. You have to have up tokens to vote, but you have the opportunity to earn additional up tokens as a result of your participation. So in 2.5 days, when the content submission window closes, that's when the rest of the community activates. That's when everybody is called to the incented campaign to review the content that's been submitted and to place their votes. You can choose to use however many tokens that you wish to vote something up or down. And if the submission meets quorum, then they will be eligible for a proportional amount of the USDC reward. But your vote also enables you to gain access to some of the up tokens as a reward for casting a vote that aligns with the community. If you cast a vote that doesn't align with the community, if you vote something up that everyone else votes down, or if you vote something down that everyone else votes up to 10% of your up tokens will be slashed and redistributed to the other participants who voted in alignment with the community. So the whole purpose here is alignment. We have very clear definition of what we're aligning on. So it is relatively objective from the sense of what we're looking for. So make sure you check that out, figure out how to participate. Join us on Telegram. Ask us questions if you're confused. This is a new program. Incented hasn't been around for decades, so it's not always absolutely clear. And I know for myself personally, doing something for the first time is always a little bit like, do I want to click the button? I'm afraid. So if you feel that way, jump into the Telegram, talk to us. Sven's always around to ask questions. Ask either any of the Steward Council. There's a dedicated channel in Telegram for the incented campaign. So by no means should you hesitate at all to just reach out and talk to us if you are a little bit uncertain on how you want to proceed with participation. So yeah, that is the final word on the incented campaign. Exciting times. There are a handful of submissions already there. I'm anticipating there's probably a few people that are going to be popping in at the last minute. We always get last minute submissions. So if that's you, don't hesitate. Get in there and get access to your chance to win a portion of that 600 USDC. And the real goal here is just getting better content. That's what we're really striving for. All of this is in in service of getting better content, because that's the stage that we're in our growth, right? We need good content that is relevant to the purpose of Unlock so that we can share with the wider community, why we're still here. We're still here. We're still building, and our infrastructure is ready for you to build on too. It may seem dark right now. It may seem like projects are shutting down left and right, but that's when a decentralized protocol becomes a beacon. And so we need that content so that we can broadcast our beacon message and get people building on Unlock. And that's the way forward. So thanks everybody for joining us for another monthly roundup. Keep your eyes peeled for the newsletter, and keep your eyes on our social media channels for any other relevant updates of things that happen in between our calls. And we'll be here next week for the marketing call. So keep that on your calendar. Thanks, everybody, and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.